I'm blue. Da-ba-dee-da-ba-da. Da-ba-dee-da-ba-da. Da-ba-dee-da-ba-da.
He's singing about his truck, if y'all don't know.
That's exactly what I'm singing about. If y'all have not seen the Smurf going up and down the road, which, by the way, the dark blue was supposed to be there. That light blue thing. All right, so this is what the graphic designer sent me, and look, it's not entirely the graphic designer's fault. They saw the disappointment on my face when it came out. But I thought from the graphic that think of a slinky, and you pull it all the way out, and then you rotate, and then it does like a crazy like spiral design, right? Mm-hmm. I thought that's what that design was behind the Resolute Blue and the HL logos and stuff. I didn't know it was just turquoise fucking dots. And so when I get up close to it and I see that, like, it's like, I don't know. It looks like I'm selling beachfront property, really. Which, by the way, we sell beachfront property. Shout out Mark Simpson and
everybody that goes to the Redneck Riviera. If you want to buy a condo, we can help you in Florida. Yeah.
We're actually, fun fact, we're having a conversation here shortly. We're not going to do it this year, but we are opening up our licensing in Alabama and Mississippi, and going to work our way, I think, west and north up the coast.
Roll Tide.
And get closer to Gulf Shores where people from Monroe are buying. I mean, there's a plethora of people who from Monroe who own condos and stuff in the Gulf Shores and Perdido Key area. Sure. And because it's not a very far drive.
Right.
And so easy vacation. And so anyway, we decided that I think instead of going further, because we had considered maybe Scottsdale or Phoenix as our next location after DFW. But I think we're just going to do that. Anyway, but it's at least a year down the road. We don't even have DFW open thanks to the great state of Texas. I didn't know anybody could move slower than Louisiana. I found them. Everything's bigger in Texas, including the lines.
Yeah. There's a lot of people moving.
Yeah, no doubt.
I do have this, and this is just me speculating and gut, and which will lead into today's episode, but like the stock exchange and all that stuff that's going on in New York and all of that, I have a feeling that's going to move to Dallas.
Oh, dude. There's a reason we're making this play to Dallas. Mm-hmm. It ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, and Dallas is booming. Still, but it was booming in the early 2000s. Bro, still booming today.
And it's gotten so far. Like you used to talk about like, oh, McKinney is the new development. That was the conversation 5-10 years ago. McKinney is developed.
So as someone that played summer ball in 2006 and lived in McKinney, there were neighborhoods I drove through that didn't have a house. All they had was sidewalks. They had the plastic, the PVC coming out the ground where water and sewer was. And street lights, it was brick fenced all around. It was like, man, this is wild. Why is this completely developed but not a house in here? And then I drove through a few years ago. And then there were trees between McKinney and Frisco. And I drove through a few years ago going to Oklahoma City. And I used to be able to get around with no problem. Direction is not an issue for me.
Yeah.
I didn't know where I was at.
Dude, we own a house in Frisco, and I have I'm just starting to learn the roads, and then if there's traffic on the roads that I know, I don't know how to get home anymore, so I just got to let Tesla drive me, which is, whatever. But, yeah.
Humble brag.
I mean, not really. It's pretty common technology. Teslas are not super expensive vehicles.
They're not. It's still a humble brag.
I mean,
it's way better than a 2012 GMC Sierra.
DJ.
I am one of those people. I like nice things, but I don't need nice things.
Yeah.
And my truck has been paid off for years, and I really enjoy that I don't have a car note at all.
Yeah.
And so that's me complaining, but I'm not really complaining because I'm actually happy because the vehicle I bought, when I bought it, I couldn't pay for a set of tires for that price on a new vehicle now.
Yeah. No. So today in What's the Deal, I think our agreed upon topic is what's the deal with trusting your gut?
Yeah, Jordan, you got a pen? Anywhere? Bueller? No? All right.
The pen is mightier.
Oh, there we go.
And in this case, it's the Expo marker. All right. So many times we are in decisions. It could be in business. It could be in personal. It could be in your marriage, parenting, financials. I believe this conversation applies to your entire life. Do you have a disagreement there? Mm-mm. Yeah, trusting your gut. Some people have really good guts, and I don't mean that in the sense of like you know, like my six pack over here. And by six pack, I mean the thing that I earned by drinking whiskey and seltzers. Not quite a muscular six pack.
It's under there somewhere.
Yeah, Jordan is over here.
I've never seen it, but
Jordan is behind the camera right now, and he's just like going full on keg mode over here. And so, no, we're not talking about that gut. We're talking about that thing in your spirit that sits somewhere around here. I wonder why God did that. I don't know. And it gives you a check, and it tells you what may be happening next. Do you find that yours is mostly right, mostly wrong? What do you find when we talk about trusting your gut?
I think for me, my gut is usually it's an initial decision, like that first boom. Yeah, this is going to be a good idea. Not hearing all the information. This is going to be a good decision. This is going to be something I need to do. It's happened in most every aspect of my life. It's like, oh, look, this is the direction you need to go. Figure it out.
Yep.
You know, that's that initial gut reaction.
Yeah. But have you found it to be like that your gut leads you the right way or the wrong way?
Oh, the right way.
Yeah. Like how often?
Well, I couldn't really put a number. I don't. Well, let's go down that walk of life. So for me, I was working at the newspaper. My degree, by the way, was kind of a mix of advertising / marketing, exactly what I was doing at the News Star when I was working there. I loved that job. It was what I went to school for. And we had a meeting, and one of our they were telling us unpaid furloughs we had to take, and one of our employees that was about to retire asked the very simple, honest, easy question. Because they had just told us what the CEO was making. The CEO made $26 million that year. And they were like, hey, we're going to have to ask you guys to take off a week unpaid furlough because we have a $4 million payroll gap that we need to fix. And the employee asked, well, can't the CEO just make $22 million this year? And us that are struggling to pay our bills not worry about that?
Yeah.
And I kid you not. They said, all right, if there's no further questions, y'all have a great day, and shut the Zoom. And it was Skype. Shut the Skype off right there.
I forgot Skype existed, by the way.
That was my first, I'm just a number here. This isn't where I'm going to be the rest of my life.
Yeah.
I need to start making a change. And that's when that was like right there. That was my first gut punch. Boom, you got to do this. That was my direction into entrepreneurialism, was that meeting. And I had absolutely zero idea.
Did you just know that you could do it better?
Well, it was one of those, like, I knew I was going to wake up somewhere. Because I was there for 3 years. I got promoted 3 times in 3 years. Like I said, I really enjoyed that. And I was pretty good at it. I knew my next promotion was going to be an advertising director at some other newspaper. And it's kind of this premonition. It was going to be in the middle of nowhere, Arkansas. It's kind of regional type deal. And at the age I am now, now this would have happened a whole lot sooner. This was the thought. The age I am now, I would be handed, our editor would walk in the office and say, hey, here's your severance package. We're shutting the newspaper down. You have to fire everybody. And start over. Like I had that. Like, this is what's going to happen. This is where this is going. And you look at the News Star now. There's nobody, no employees here.
Aren't you glad you don't work there?
Very glad. But it was one of those. Like I said, it was that initial gut reaction of, okay, I need to find a way out.
Right.
And that's what led me into buying Pickle Barrel and just taking that whole entrepreneurial journey. Another one early on with you. We worked for competing bar owners, and one of our first conversations about Neat was, hey, let's do this together so that we don't have to deal with this BS that we're dealing with.
We had saw the people that we worked for, because we worked for, again, competitive bars, but 2 people who did not care or like each other, or like each other. And we're like, what would have happened if those 2 would have worked together?
Well, see, that's the crazy thing, though. When they were competitors, they didn't like each other.
Yeah.
When they worked in the same industry but opposite, target audience, we borrowed stuff from, y'all all the time, and it just when it became competitive, that's when it became an issue. But
yeah.
But then in that way, then you and I split ways in the bar business. And then here we are, 9 years later. And there was a swimming pool evening at Harrison's house. And it was one of those, what are you doing? Why aren't you doing this? What's holding you back? And my gut there was, I've been feeling this way. I need to do this. I need to make that decision. And we figured out how to make that decision.
Yeah.
And here we are. So it's like I've had a lot of those just kind of gut punch reactions, like figure out this is the right direction to go. Figure it out.
Just figure that out. Mm-hmm. So have your gut ever led you astray? Like, have you ever made any, like you felt it in your gut, you're going to do it, you made the decision, and boom.
Well, I'm not going to say astray. The last, get a little personal here, the last year of trying to work on things, and it hasn't really panned out the way I thought it would. My gut told me I needed to do that, and there were things that happened that kind of led into that. But here I am now. I don't think it led me astray, because the one thing, as I finalized my divorce, the one, set in truth that I have is that I tried.
Yeah.
Right?
So your gut has cleared your conscience.
Yep.
Yeah, that's fair. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mine, I live on my gut. Mm-hmm. Like, I just do. I don't, I do read and study and stuff like that, but at the same time, I'm very reactionary. I don't know if that's always a good thing. But I try to see things before they happen. Mm-hmm. So like I don't look for this month's finances. I'm actually looking at our finances 3 months from now right now. Mm-hmm. I'm not looking at our marketing plans today. I'm looking at our marketing plans for 6 months from now. I'm always planning that one step ahead of the market or of my competitors. And it's my gut that leads me to get those hunches, right? Like I see data sets, and this is a God-given blessing. I'm not smart enough. Mm-hmm. God did this for me. But it's like I see these data points, and it gives me a conclusion of what I believe where we need to be in the future in order to stay ahead of the curve. Mm-hmm. Like, for instance, all right, so we're an independent brokerage in real estate. Well, so Zillow just did a partnership with Berkshire Hathaway, Keller Williams, whatchamacallit, 2 or 3 other very large anywhere, which that's like Coldwell Banker and all that, for this preview service, right? Well, EXP partnered with Homes.com and Realtor.com. Well, guess who the largest payers are to those 3 organizations in Northeast Louisiana? Hello. Guess who's the only Zillow-sponsored team in Northeast Louisiana? Mm-hmm. It's us. We created those partnerships 6 months ago. We also did another partnership with Place. We're not affiliated with any large brokerage. We're virtually poor compared to all these other. Like we operate in cash. Our company owes no man, no thing, and we don't have any of these large billionaire affiliations. So 6 months ago, I signed a private equity deal, and it put us in partnership with billionaires. And now because of that, all these deals that are being made, well, our partnership is brand agnostic. What do you think is going to happen when 500 of the top 20% teams in North America all put their buying and data power together and go, hey, what deal will you offer us? So we now get to move like billionaires in a market. And I remember when I released the data to the team and said, we're doing this, and people were like, Harrison, it's going so well. Why would you make a change when it's going so well? We don't like this. And I was like, because there's a day coming and we're going to need to move like billionaires move. And I'm sorry, guys. I'm not a billionaire. I'm very good at real estate, but not a billionaire. So we're going to have to move like billionaires, and we need a billionaire partner to make that happen. So we signed with what I believed was the best brand for us to sign with. And 6 months later, turns out that may have been a really, really great life-saving decision. And then decisions in sales we make, they're cyclical, and you find out if you made a good decision, not the next day, but typically 3 to 6 months after you make the decision. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And we had some really interesting board numbers come out yesterday, DJ. Mm-hmm. Did you read that message that I sent out?
I did.
Yeah.
They did.
Yeah. The board in Northeast Louisiana, that means the sales, the market, the real estate market, is down 5 to 7% year over year. All right.
I'm not seeing it.
Me either. I'm so busy right now. It's nuts. And then I went, okay, well, I know that we're doing well this year, but I hadn't really quantified any year over year. Like the end of the quarter hasn't hit, so I haven't done any of my measure up. I normally check and see, like, all right, how are our top producers doing versus other people's top producers? How's our team doing versus other teams? How's our brokerage doing versus other brokerages? Like, what are our listings doing? Is our listing team doing their job? Is our marketing team doing their job? It takes time, data sets for me to do that, and I do it once a quarter. So I'm a few weeks out, but I was like, well, since this data's here, let me just go into our numbers real quick. And so while the market is down 5 to 7%, DJ, we're up 34 to 35% right now. So we are.
You're welcome.
Thanks, DJ.
I wasn't here last year.
But we're actually doing it with less agents.
No, I know.
We had 27, 28 agents last year. We had 21 agents.
21.
Huh?
21.
21. Yeah. We have 21 agents right now, and we're outpacing our year over year by 35%. And when you take that 5 to 7 point deficit in the market and then add it to our number, it actually means we're outpacing the market by over 40%.
It's almost like my gut told me to pick a brokerage that was actually doing well.
And you were highly recruited, actually. I think every brokerage.
I got a couple phone calls.
Every major brokerage wanted you. Which, to be fair,
Well, there were conversations before I ever even got in there too. I mean, look, I had the privilege of working with most every brokerage in the market in my last job.
Yeah.
You know, and we had specific meetings for realtors and things like that. And you know, I tell people all the time, they're like, so how are you adjusting to the new gig? I'm like, well, really, what you don't know is I did a lot of this already for the city. I just didn't
get paid
for
it.
I didn't get paid for it. But I did other things as well. But a lot of the real estate stuff that we did and do in the governmental sector, I was doing a lot of that for us. So I was making those connections, making those contacts with a lot of developers and things like that. And a lot of those, honestly, that 5-year education I got working in the mayor's office is better than any degree I have, any, classes I've sat through. I mean, it's just the amount of people I was able to meet and business leaders that are just really moving the needle in the market.
Well, I think that it definitely lended to your current position. So I've learned something about commercial real estate because I am not a commercial expert. Like, I can put together a deal. I understand the nuances of commercial real estate, but I am not professionally a commercial realtor. I have 100% seen the difference by working a little more closely with you in commercial than I had previously with other people. And the thing that I am learning about commercial is, does marketing need to be there? Yes, it does need to exist. Do you need to have customer service? Yes, absolutely. Do you still need tech and transaction coordinators and leverage? Yep, absolutely. You need all those things. But the Rolodex and who you know is the number one difference that I have seen in you in commercial. Because when I say, hey, DJ, we have this opportunity. And so it's like and not to take anything away from DJ, and you're welcome to, if you feel differently, you're welcome to correct me. DJ and I have had some synergy. Like, I have clients, DJ has Rolodex. And while people are learning that DJ's actually really, really good at this, I'm getting some phone calls and I'm able to plug DJ and go, hey, we have an opportunity. Because used to, what would have happened if somebody would have called me, I'd have been like, hey, man, unfortunately, I don't think I'm your guy. Let me get you over to so-and-so, and I may or may not even get a penny off of that. And so I'm handing out millions of dollars in leads yearly to people who don't even work for me because we don't service that kind of business. And then, giving DJ at bats, and then DJ is over here going, I know the person who could do this. I know the person who could do this. I connect these people, and then we have this government program to do this, and then I'm going to connect this person with this person. And it's almost like relationships create access. And that's what you've been doing for the last 5 years. It's just creating a ton of relationships.
Well, that's the beauty of not, sometimes not making a lot of money is that, I think sometimes in our industry, people see a realtor call and they're like, Oh God, what do they want now? But when you can create value for people and you don't get paid on that, that's a big step forward, big stride forward. I had a guy yesterday call and said, "Hey, look, I got this deal going on. I'm being represented by this person. How do I get out of this?" And kind of went through it, and I was like, "Look, man, you're too far in. I can't get you out of it, but this is what I'll do. If you need any help, call me. I'll work for free. And if you got on your next one, we'll figure something out." I was like, "But I'm not like." So it's that kind of like create value for people, where they, especially in our industry, where when they see your name ring on their phone, what do you say? If you're helping people make money,
They answer.
Yeah. Right. And so that's kind of that little tidbit you threw at me a couple days ago. I was like, okay, here we go. I'm going to use that. Yeah. And that's, so that's where that phone call came in yesterday. But it was like, when you can create value for people, which is what I did, or I think I did at least at the city, it's helped me tremendously in this way.
Yeah, and you know how? So I actually have a case study to back up what we just talked about. When if you're making people money, they answer their phone. So I have a new phone number this week. No one knows what it is. All right, and we're not telling anyone either. You can. The old number still works. You can call, you can text it. It still makes its way to me. Just if I'm not available, someone else picks up, and that was the main thing. Is I hated not answering people's calls. Like I actually feel very accountable to not answering your phone call.
Yeah.
But. So no one knows this new number. It's a random number. It's not a vanity number. You wouldn't know it was me. It's just a random ass Verizon phone number. And no one's answering my calls. Whereas normally people answer my calls. And I'm like, I like text them and I'm like, this is Harrison. And then they call me back like, bro, I didn't know it was you. Like I would have answered your call. And and I was like, it's because you didn't know it was somebody who brings you money. Right? And you didn't know it was somebody who brings you jobs. You didn't know it was somebody who provides for, your whatever it is your goal is. So I can tell you definitely, if every time you call somebody, money lands in their pocket, they answer their phone for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's, I changed mine a few years ago when going into work for the
glad
city.
you don't have a freaking 225 number anymore.
Well, look, it's cell phones. It doesn't matter anymore. You're not remembering anybody's number anyway, so it doesn't matter.
I know, but I am in the business of cold calling people sometimes.
Yeah, that was.
And so not looking like a local absolutely hurts you. In fact, we also have case studies on that for you assholes who like to argue with me that your phone number doesn't matter. I have had realtors come in the door. I've actually had people leave the brokerage and get mad at me and go talk trash about me when they walk out the door. So I was like, hey, you're going to have a hard time succeeding here with that phone number. Well, why? Because you're supposed to be calling people, and if people don't think you're local, they're not going to answer the phone. So just go get a vanity number. You can go pay $20 for it and then put it on your second line on your phone, whatever you want to do. Don't care. And we did a case study where you make 100 phone calls with an out-of-town number and 100 phone calls with in-town number. And guess who shockingly won every single time? The in-town number gets answered.
Yeah, that's why, and that was the reason I switched. Before that, I was like, man, I'm going to be working for the mayor, city of Monroe. I can't have a 225 number. I have to have a 318. There's going to be too many people.
Sacrilegious. Like I think people would have talked trash about that.
Well, it's just you meet too many random people and handed somebody like, oh, who's this carpetbagger, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's just like. No, I'm here. And let's be honest, I have lived in Monroe longer than I've lived anywhere else in my life.
So you might as well just...
Yeah, this is home.
Yeah. Join the club. Yeah, I'll always have a 318 number. I don't care where I live, but yeah.
So, the topic being trusting your gut, what's something recently that's you've trusted your gut on that's paid off?
Okay. So I got out of a business recently. And, I don't want to speak ill of anybody, so that's not my intent here. And it was, so I actually made the decision for a few reasons, one of which I'm not going to talk about. But I just had no interest in it. Like risk, interest for payoff just wasn't there for me anymore. And I want to focus in. My gut was telling me, Harrison, you're really good at real estate. You have you have really talented people who have signed up with you and who are trusting you to grow their careers and continue their incomes. As of last week, I looked at our numbers. 5 out of the top 10 residential realtors in Northeast Louisiana work here. right? We're the smallest brokerage in the area. 5 out of the top 10 work in we have 21 realtors. 5 of them are the top 5. Number 1, 2, 5. Anyway, I can't remember. No, Sam was 5. Anyway, there's 5, 4 or 5 of us. Anyway, and we had number 11 too. And so, I'm like, dude, you're really good at this. Why in the world are you stepping over dollars to pick up cents? Like, this doesn't make sense, and I'm not sleeping at night. Anxiety is through the roof. I'm taking Klonopin to not function during the day, but to sleep at night. Strangely enough, this is super weird. I got claustrophobia at night. Is that weird?
This sounds like a control thing.
I don't know what it is, but yeah, anyway, so, and I'm like, okay, so my life is supposed to be getting better, right? My net worth is going up. My income is fine. We are in the best financial place that we've ever been. Our company is going great. Why am I feeling like this? I'm like, dude, you are doing things that don't make sense anymore. And so my gut was stay in your superpower, quit wasting time, focus on the people who are investing in you.
Yeah.
And I made that decision about 3 months ago. I made a lot of big decisions over the last 3 to 6 months about who is going to be allowed in my life. It's not that I don't like the people or love the people, just who's allowed to be there and who's not.
Thank you.
You've done nothing to deserve getting ousted. So, maybe being a bad influence on my liver on some nights, but that's about it.
Well, it's, every time we walk into something that's got a bar attached, there's always that DJ no, DJ no. Anyways, it's just made a lot of cash doing it.
That's good. But no. So my gut told me to exit everything that wasn't profitable, to exit everything that wasn't serving me, to exit everything that was giving me anxiety, and focus in on what I know I'm good at.
Right.
I am, I'll say this, if you want to talk residential real estate, I don't know anybody better. Haven't met them. I'm sure there's somebody out there, but we're really good at residential real estate, and I think I'm just going to keep doing that if that's okay. Yeah.
You're pretty good at commercial real estate, too, on the back office side of it. I have learned that. There's, for me, the beauty of all of this is I have worked in this world for quite a while, but I haven't worked in the paperwork side of it, in the deal side of it. And so there's a lot of things like, man, I'll walk in your office, and you just write off. No, you do it like this, blah, 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 blah. And okay, that makes sense. Let's go do that.
10 years of obsessive compulsive behavior in real estate, like 100%. Wanting to be the master of my craft.
And it's made, I'm going to tell you, it's made my life a whole lot easier, being able to have somebody I can go in there, and it's not some like, well, maybe we do it this way, maybe. No, just do it like this. Okay, got it. Thank you. Yeah. Perfect.
And there's just so many different ways you can do it. I'll tell you, if you go ask Amanda, who I think Amanda is real, she's navigating contracts. I'd actually say she might be better than me at that. But she does it completely different than me. If an agent calls for coaching from Amanda and then they call from coaching from me, we're both going to say things that are right, but we're likely saying a different version. Yeah. And so there's a lot of ways to skin a cat in this world, and in commercial, I would tell you, because that is the Wild West of real estate. The rules don't apply, the laws don't apply, the code of ethics don't apply anymore. They apply to an extent, but not near as deeply. Agents are writing their own contracts, and I don't mean the 11-page fill-in-the-blank contract that residential realtors. I mean, you're literally writing legally binding documents.
Sign this piece of loose leaf paper.
And that's how it's rolling. I just lost my vanity monitor. I'm glad you get to look at yourself.
That's all right. It's not worth looking at.
The view is lackluster. I just try to make sure my moobs aren't entirely out there. I got to fluff my shirt every now and then. So. Anyways, but no, it's been a fun ride. But I think listening to our guts over the last 6 months has been a profitable thing, and I think by going deeper there, we're going to continue to see success because it's gotten really fun. It has.
It really has. The wild irony to all of this, and you said this yesterday, and I've kind of He's like, man, I don't know how we'd be doing this if you weren't here with the commercial side. Well,
we wouldn't be, actually.
Wouldn't be.
I'd be
And
saying
you
no.
weren't.
That contract we just picked up, I would have turned it down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things like there are things that you turn away, things that all right, look, this is the world I'm in. And, he wasn't necessarily ready for that yet. Here we are. Mm-hmm. Man, guys, I need to be a lot better at advertising my stuff, a lot better. I know that. I realize that before I worked at City Hall, I did a lot of that on my own, just my own personal voice. And when you go work for someone else, it's kind of a lot of, especially in that world where I don't care if you hate me, as long as you vote for him, I don't care. Like that doesn't, and I was a no guy in a lot of situations with that. And because, if I can give any future elected officials a tidbit, don't say no. Find somebody like me that tells everybody no. And that way people don't get mad at you. Yeah. But they can get mad at your staff, but as long as they're still voting for you, who cares? Yeah. Anyway, in the same vein, just lost my train of thought. Going through all of that and telling people that, hey, look, this is not what we're doing. Well, now we are doing it. Mm-hmm. Because you're doing it, you're going to start the law of attraction. You're going to start getting it in. But the amount of leads I'm getting from people, like from our staff, that are calling people and, hey, we see you're looking at this, and because you hadn't talked about this yet, but there's some tools that we have access to that I would argue nobody else in the market has access to.
I mean, you can get them, but they just cost you a lot of money.
And but it's
I'd just give them to you for free if you work here.
Right. And it's one of those things. So like our in-house is calling, and I'm getting, this is not a joke, 5 and 6 on fire hot leads a week. Right now in commercial. And if it's one of those, there's a lot of people in commercial that don't really like doing the leases and stuff like that. I don't mind. I'll do the work. I'm one of those, like, get the work done and we'll figure the money out afterwards. But there's a lot coming in where people are seeing the same thing in our market. And they're like, hey, all right, we're about to have a bunch of buyers here. There's new business coming in, new growth happening. This is a good time for me to start a business. Right. And so you're getting into those type deals. And then you talk about the relationships and things that you had and kind of reaching out to those guys. Hey, what are you doing? Or y'all have any interest in this? Let's talk about this. And you sit down and talk with some of these big developers, and they're like, well, I need something here, 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 and here. I was like, okay, well, I have a listing right here. Are y'all opposed to that? He said, well, nothing right there there's no open land right there. I said, well, I actually have a piece. And it's like, yeah, it's not big enough. Okay, cool. Well, I have this building right next door. Are y'all interested? I'll submit it. There is literally nothing there, so they probably would be interested in it. So let's figure that out. And so, it's like working down that path of just, because we're in it, because we're starting to attract it in, it's starting to come in even more. And would you say yesterday, like some of them and I've told Harrison this, and I know he knows this, but for the longest time, like commercial to me, with the relationships that are there, your average home buyer is going to buy, 2.5 houses in their lifetime?
Yeah. I mean, if you're a good client, you might get to serve them 3 times.
And a good agent, you might serve your client once or twice. And that
if they use you all 3 times, you're doing really good.
You're killing it.
But
in a commercial...
the same person. You could have
3 times in a month.
You could have 10 clients and make an enormous amount of money just with 10 clients. You've probably already identified 2 or 3 of those that are going to be great clients for you. Yeah,
I have one that's given me a price range. They're residential, and so I want to be between here and here. This is where my rents are going to be. This is the neighborhoods I want to be in. Well, I found something yesterday that was in that price range, but commercial. And the rents are higher than what he would rent for. And I sent it to him, and he said, okay, who's going to lease it? I said, well, we got 2 tenants right now looking for space in that area. So the hope is that we double click, you get it, and we sign a lease the same day for them to move in. And so,
and what a valuable service that is, though, right? Is to go, hey, I found money for you, and I found money for you.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's just sometimes you get lucky, but the harder you work, the luckier you get.
That's right.
And that one was that was me looking for something for someone looking to lease some space, and this guy'd probably be interested.
Fun fact: that person, I believe, has a real estate license. I think they do.
I know they interviewed here.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but it's just kind of one of those things. Like it's the commercial. It's a lot of dominoes that fall in that, and it's those people that, that they're constantly. If you can stay where they want you to stay, you can do a lot of business in that. And then I think what he's looking for in this market, there's a lot of that.
Yeah.
And there's, in the same vein, we're looking to create a group. We're looking to start buying portfolios.
Yeah.
I know we talk about real estate a little bit. We don't talk about it a lot on here, but if you have a portfolio, 20 plus houses or more, send it to us.
Yep, we're putting together a group. It's not going to be a syndicate where we pull our money. It'll be individuals and groups that have the ability. Like I have the ability to buy 2 or 4 houses at a time, and I have the crews and the manpower to get those turned over, get them rented, or flip them or whatever. But if you came to me and said, Harrison, look, I'll give you a great deal, but here's 20. Well, DJ, I don't have the capacity. I have the ability to take on the debt. Right. I don't have the ability to service that much work at one time.
Right.
And so. What this group will do is to go, hey, we have a block of 30. Who wants what? How can we eat up all this block and be able to make the best offer we can make to this person,
right.
So that it's swallowable for them and manageable to us, and so that's what we're working on, and it's kind of an everybody wins thing, you can get in on the deals you want in on, otherwise you're meeting and hanging out with other high level thinkers who are looking how to make their money. Make money, which is my favorite thing to do.
Yeah, it's a lot of what's wild in that though is some of the people and where the evolution of the bar industry, guys that we had working for us that are going to be in that meeting because they're in the real estate sphere now and they're doing really good things and they're trying to grow their business as well, and so they're being invited into these meetings, in different walks of the real estate sphere. And it's for me, I've always said one of my favorite things about being a business owner was watching your employees grow. Like we had a couple, and my favorite one, Marina Oliver, came in. It was hard to get her to talk.
Yeah.
At the restaurant. Like it was, and I knew her brother really well, who was very outspoken like you and I, but when I met her, I did not expect this.
Yeah.
Man, by the time she finished, she was one of the most outgoing people in the building. Like you just see employees kind of grow, and then you have people like my cousin that moved up here, found her a husband, took him back. So now every time I go to a family reunion or family function, Kevin's there, and he's from Monroe, so he's always asking me how's things going at home,
Yeah.
But just like seeing those employees grow, and then now here we are, 10 years later almost from that bar business, and you have, talking about those top 5, one of those employees is, I would assume, in that top 5.
He's number one.
Yeah. So
I'll actually say it. And I know MLS wants me to cite this. So it's my spreadsheet, which is where we keep all of our closings, which we don't publish all of our closings publicly because we have a call center and we spend so much on marketing and leads. There's a lot of stuff we do off market that it's not recorded. And so we keep a private spreadsheet of our production versus the MLS spreadsheet for residential production. So Chris Rux is actually the number 1 realtor in Northeast Louisiana right now. I see a lot of posts because you can manipulate the data in a lot of different ways. And I see like somebody at a brokerage will have this crazy closing. They'll get lucky on like a land deal or something. They'll knock down a $2 million land piece and get both sides of it. And then, for that day, they are number 1 in real estate, and they post. I've actually seen 2 I'm number 1 posts in Northeast Louisiana, and I'm like, neither one of those people will be in the top 20 or 30 by the end of this year. They just had one big sale at the very beginning of the year and got number 1. So good for them on their production. I'm not mad. But like Chris Rux is a 70 unit producer. So just for clarity's sake, the average agent in Northeast Louisiana will close 6 to 8 deals per year. And if you pick up your phone and call a random realtor online, there's an 80% chance they didn't even close a deal last year. So like those are the numbers. So the fact that Chris every year is smoking 70 plus deals for the last 5 years in a row, and this is kind of his breakout year. He's already had like 25 closings. I'm not going to tell you how much money he's made, but
do the math. You know what average sales are.
He's over 25 closings, still has 10 plus pendings, and he's writing contracts right now as we speak. I was on the phone with him last night for 30 minutes, and he's like, I just got an offer accepted. I'm writing 2 more offers yesterday, and I had 3 listing appointments this week. And I'm like, gee, Chris, you keep this up, I'm going to have to change the name on the sign, dog.
No doubt.
And what's really great about it is, Mark Sis called me years ago, 5-6 years ago. And he didn't want to join the team or anything. I think he was just likes making fun of me to my face, which is fine, whatever. I like making fun of him too. What I want to say right now, I can't say on camera. I'll tell you off camera. So he was like, Harrison, is it possible that someone on your team makes more money than you? Well, the way that our team works is that our agents' income is their net income. They don't have business expenses. What they do is they give us a split of their income, and then it's my job to be a steward of that money. Mm-hmm. So not all the money that comes into the company is not profit for Harrison. That's what pays transaction coordinators and call center and leads and marketing and signage and all the technologies we pay for. And so what I actually make is much less than what people think. And I looked at Chris's income, and I was like, this mother made more money than me this year. So yes, Mark, it is possible that someone actually that works with me makes more money than me. Because being the business owner, sure, it doesn't matter what the gross number is. Like I have a net number based on expenses, but our agents, every check is a net number. In fact, I've done the math. It's about 98% is your net. So if you make $100,000, you net 98. Whereas if you're at a typical brokerage, you pay in your split, you may cap out at $15,000 or $21,000 a year, but your expenses are your expenses. You are not provided all the technologies you need at other brokerages to be successful. Right. Whereas here we pay for everything. Mm-hmm. There's not a tech or a thing that we don't have. So you may have to spend $100,000. Well, okay, cool. You made $200, but you had to spend $100 on subscription services, marketing, and leads. So you made $100,000. So the GCI battle is it's an annoying one for me.
Yeah, well, that quarterly dues email came in yesterday, and that's another one that I don't have to worry about paying. That gets paid in house, and there's a lot to the whole deal. I think our brokerage is it's 50-50 split. No, nobody's doing it. Yeah, it's not. If you look at it strictly as numbers like that, sure, it's going to be a negative. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, we're all in sales. We all recognize and realize whatever we're selling the same thing. And if you have the best tools in your pocket to sell, it proves it. It shows it. It's like having a hammer and having a nail gun. Mm-hmm. Which one's going to get the job done quicker? Yeah,
the nail gun's way more expensive, by the way, but I can go lay 3 roofs in the time that you can hammer in one.
Right, and so it's one of those. Like you said, the leads. I'm talking about my own personal experience here. I started in November according to the board, I started in September, but I started in November as actually working in real estate. In November, December, slow months. But I had a lot of continuing stuff.
There's like a 2-month learning curve here with us anyway, because there's so many moving pieces that you've got to kind of learn our infrastructure and our technology just to even really get started.
And, there was a lot of continuing ed, too, that I had to get done before the end of the year.
Yeah.
As well as new agent, education, all that stuff. And so getting all of those things done and really kind of hitting the ground running in January, it's been, I'll say there's a lot of things I've recognized and realized that other agents, other brokerages have to do where they're having to input. Like, I can say this because it's been listed. I got 2 deals in the last month.
How many listings do you have about to hit the market?
So I have almost $6 million in total listings. Mm-hmm. already. And
Oh, you got more than that.
it's up there. Now, I'm not counting leases.
Oh, you weren't counting leases?
I'm not counting leases.
Oh, okay. I was like, bro, like
that leasable property is a whole different.
I was saying, you can go up by like $5+ million.
And so there's a lot that's come in, and a lot of this is become from the relationships I have, but a lot of it also is, like I said, I had speaking of a phone call yesterday. I was like, trying to help the guy, and I can't, but that turns into probably in hopes about a $2 million purchase coming in the next.
Well, I can tell you, if
months.
that guy wants to transact with you, he absolutely has the ability to transact with you.
And so I put him on a couple of things. He's like, let's go do some drive arounds next week when I get back in town. And
sweet, I'll be going. You'll have fun.
Yep.
Yeah.
But it's really if I wouldn't have, and I'm going to affectionately call them the girls upstairs because my office is downstairs. If I wouldn't have the girls upstairs.
The house.
I would not.
The rising sun.
I don't know how I would be doing this.
Yeah.
Here's a funny one, and this is just a Harrison and DJ joke. So I walked into Harrison's office last week, and I was like, Harrison, I know this is about to sound like the stupidest thing I've ever said for an agent that's been here for 3 months.
Is this the part where you asked me for help?
No,
you said you needed to hire help?
I feel like I need to hire help. I'm that far behind. And Harrison's response to me as a good friend is, I know, and it's so fun to watch. Go do the work.
That is exactly what I said.
Yeah. Because, also I need to learn this stuff as well. And so it's been such a fun year already.
Wait till you actually start making money.
I know.
Because we're at the beginning portion of the sales cycle where we're building the business, building the brand in commercial. And there's a lot of people out here who do not know what HL commercial is or that what DJ Fortenberry is doing with that brand, that once people figure it out, it's going to be too late. We are going to have to, I can already see the writing on the wall. Once some of these leases start turning over and some of these listings, he didn't give y'all, he gave y'all a dollar amount on the amount of listings, guys, but I think he's probably working on north of 50 listings right now, which is insane for a 6-month realtor.
I got 34 last week, was about $1 million worth of property. 32 we got out 2 weeks before, which is all leasable land or leasable space. Some of it for sale. Got a call this morning on one of them.
Let's go. You'll make somebody very happy.
Those two. We've done a lot of land deals, and we have property
building downtown that's not necessarily a listing, but he will sell to a client that you already have, and so you're working on that deal right now.
It's just It's been a lot of work. It's a lot of fun. And then leasing out space in this office, this building. Yeah. Which, guys, we haven't mentioned this. This is actually the first episode in the new podcast studio.
Oh yeah, we're in the new podcast studio right now. This is one of 4 sets. If I didn't want to damage Jordan's cameras, I would show them all around to you. But we have a larger set. This is kind of your 2-person business-ish, male-ish set. There's one over there that's a little more girly. It's got some greens in it and white chairs and a plush couch. You have a tech set, which is a lot more like Joe Rogan studio kind of thing with the long table. Then, of course, we have the floating head set, and that's your green screen. There's a desk or a bar there. So you think about hosting a news show or, you could do live shopping over there or anything. But yeah, no, there's nothing we can't do in the studio.
And we've also, because we've had a couple people walk through that do this stuff and have an interest in this, the shareable kitchen space, which is kind of like a warming kitchen. It's not really a cooking kitchen, but like a warming kitchen. So if you wanted to come in there and do some kind of cooking set, there's a bar right there. We can take that bar, put that in there as an island, and do a whole kitchen cooking podcast type deal there too. Because everything here is mobile. All the lights, all the cameras, and all that stuff. The sound equipment, you can't see it. It's right here off camera, but it's on a mobile.
It's that's like a tool thingy. Yeah,
mobile tool cart. So everything can be mixed and matched in here. You got black painted wall, navy blue wall. I'm sorry, black is here, hunter green, navy blue, black right behind us, and then like Harrison said, the green screen right here. Everyone I've walked through this studio they're in awe. That
there's
like this.
there's not a nicer podcast set in Northeast Louisiana, and they definitely do not have the equipment.
I agree.
Yeah.
And so if you guys want to shoot a podcast, please let us know.
Yeah.
We're not quite live yet, but it's pretty close and ready to do that.
Yep. So, anyways, well, guys, I am getting ready to.
I also want to say, trust your gut.
Trust your
On
gut.
wanting to do that podcast. You do need to do it.
Oh, yeah. No, for sure.
Since we're trusting our gut.
Yeah, since we're trusting our gut today. Way to stay on topic. This is probably the most we stayed on topic ever in the history of the show. For all of our 5 viewers, you're welcome.
Thank you, Mom.
Right? Fun fact, when I leave here, I'm going to get ready to pack up. I got some follow-ups and sales calls to make for some listings, but I'm going to pack up, heading to Miami with Amanda and Jennifer Graves, our director of operations. We're going to get to go sit under Tom Ferry. Fun, like, if you're a realtor, if you don't know who Tom Ferry is, definitely go check him out. Number one real estate coach in the country, and for good reason. The dude really knows his stuff. Very, very heavy on the marketing and advertising end, which is what I want to say I specialize in, except I'm not as good as him. Like, he definitely blows me away with new tech every single time. But this is not like a conference where like there's 5,000, 10,000 people in the room. This is an intimate setting, 50 people, top producers in the room. It's very cool to get to be in the room. But this will be my second one to get to go to, and I am absolutely pumped. So while I am going to Miami, it's not to go sit on the beach. It's to go get better at my job. And then let me share with you guys what we're doing. And this won't air until it's already done, so none of you can snitch and ruin my surprise. But my son, who just turned 10, did you see my custom shirt? Thanks.
Saw it last night.
Thanks, Amanda. Wait, where'd you see it last night?
On the team's call.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, we also made another shirt last night on the team's call. I didn't like that one. It says, HL likes to touch you.
No, yeah.
Remember, because the topic was touching people?
Yeah.
Like, we mean like drip campaigns. Oh, that doesn't sound good either. No. Anyways, it's where we communicate with clients. Yeah. Apparently, we're just a bunch of touchers and diddlers in here.
26 times a year, baby.
We can do better. Yeah. We can do better. Anyway, so we're taking Clayton to Disney World. So I did learn something, and this was a punch in the gut, that I now understood why my parents, one time when we went to Disney, and I think I was about to cry or something like that. I mean, I was like 8 or 9 or something like that. And I was hot, and I didn't want to walk anymore. And I remember my mom or my dad, I don't remember which, but I mean, I remember them basically just giving me that look and basically going, suck it up and have fun. Because I just paid for Disney for 5 people.
And it wasn't as bad then as it is now, but it was bad.
Well, we didn't have any money back then. My parents, I mean, I can take a guess at what they made with 5 kids.
Yeah.
I don't know how it was feasibly possible that we went. Yeah. Seriously, I have no idea. And so, yeah, I don't know how you guys do it. But I'm going to take Clayton to Universal and Disney. It's for his birthday. It's hopefully the last time I will ever go to Disney for the rest of my life.
Nah.
Oh, yeah.
There's you do the around the world deal. Heard that's a lot of fun. There's an adult side of Disney, there's a kid side of Disney.
Yeah, but I'm only going there for a 10-year-old, so I will be on rides.
Yeah, until you have grandkids, and then.
Yeah.
You still gonna pay for it.
That's so. I was talking to a client yesterday, Mr. Virgil, and we were talking, and he goes, "How much did that cost you?" And I told him, and he goes, "Well, I took my family on a Disney cruise." And he goes, 15 people. You do the math. I said, "You had to eat it all?" And he was like, "All of it." And then he told me what it cost, and I was like, "Hell no!" I was like, "Stay at the house. Yeah, I'll cook for everybody." Yeah, that was nuts. But anyways. So trust your gut. Don't go to Disney.
There you go.
Yeah.
No, just trust your bank account.
Dear Lord, trust Amex. That's where it's sitting. I'll figure that out at the first. Who wants to buy a house? I need to sell one.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah. So anyway, guys, thank y'all for being here for What's the Deal. Reminder: your gut speaks to you, and I believe you should listen.
I agree.
Yeah. You guys have a great day. We're gonna go sell some real estate and hop on planes and stuff.
See you later.
Peace, love, go America.